Why does your cat stare at you without blinking? It's one of those moments that feels almost otherworldly. You're sitting on the couch, minding your own business, maybe scrolling through your phone or watching television, and then suddenly you feel it, the unmistakable weight of a gaze. You look up, and there's your cat, sitting quietly across the room, eyes wide open, pupils fixed, unblinking. It can feel both unsettling and mysterious, as if your cat is studying you, judging you, or maybe even trying to read your mind. But behind that intense feline gaze lies a world of fascinating science, instinct, and emotion. Cats are creatures of mystery, and staring is one of their most intriguing behaviors. Unlike humans, who often blink to keep our eyes moist and comfortable, cats blink much less frequently. Their eyes are specially adapted to stay open longer, which gives the impression of an endless, piercing stare. To a cat, this isn't strange, it's just how their biology works. But to us, the humans being watched, it can feel almost like a silent conversation. When your cat stares at you without blinking, one possibility is simple curiosity. Cats are extremely observant creatures. Their survival, both in the wild and in domestic life, has always depended on noticing the smallest details. The flick of a leaf, the twitch of a mouse's tail, or the subtle shift in their human's behavior. So, when you catch your cat staring, they may just be watching you closely, cataloging your movements, and trying to predict what you might do next. Are you about to get up, walk to the kitchen, reach for the food bag? Cats learn patterns quickly, and your body language gives them all the clues they need. But sometimes the stare carries more weight. Cats are predators by nature, and their instincts push them to observe quietly. Even though your cat may be a pampered house pet who hasn't hunted in years, the instincts of their wild ancestors are still deeply embedded in their DNA. Staring without blinking mimics the focused intensity a wild cat uses when stalking prey. That gaze isn't just casual, it's a survival tool. When your cat does it to you, it may not mean they see you as prey, of course, but it's a natural extension of who they are. Their eyes are their most powerful weapons for tracking and assessing, and you just happen to be the target of that attention. There's also the possibility of communication. Cats don't speak our language, but they do use body signals and facial expressions to interact with us. Staring is one of those signals. Sometimes your cat is simply trying to tell you something. Maybe they're hungry and waiting for you to notice. Maybe they want attention, a head scratch, or a spot in your lap. That unwavering gaze is like their way of saying, "Hey, I'm here, pay attention to me." In the feline world, subtlety is everything, and staring is a powerful way to get their point across without making a sound. Interestingly, cat staring isn't always about wanting something. Sometimes it's a sign of trust. In the wild, making direct eye contact can be seen as a challenge or even a threat. Two cats who lock eyes might be gearing up for a confrontation. But with you, your cat has no need to fight or defend. Instead, they stare as a way of connecting, of acknowledging that you are part of their world, and that they feel safe enough to let their guard down. The unblinking nature of their gaze is part of this. It shows they don't feel the need to constantly check their surroundings. You are their focus, and that means they trust you more than you might realize. And then, there's the other side of the coin. Staring can sometimes be intimidating. You may have noticed your cat holding eye contact when they're upset or feeling dominant. This is especially true in multi-cat households. One cat may stare at another as a way of asserting control, showing who's in charge without the need for hissing or swatting. If your cat fixes that kind of stare on you, it might mean they're frustrated or unhappy about something. Maybe you've ignored them too long. Maybe they're annoyed at being moved off the bed. Or maybe they're warning you not to touch them right now. That same behavior, translated into the human-cat bond, can feel intense because it's your cat trying to express strong emotion in the only way they know how. But what about the lack of blinking itself? This is where things get even more fascinating. In the animal kingdom, blinking often signals relaxation. Dogs, for example, blink or turn their gaze away to show submission or calmness. Cats, on the other hand, use blinking in a very specific way. You might have heard of the slow blink, that long, languid closing of the eyes that cat lovers sometimes call a kitty kiss. When your cat gives you a slow blink, it's a sign of affection, a way of saying, "I feel safe with you." By contrast, the absence of blinking, that wide, intense stare, can mean the opposite: alertness, focus, or a deliberate attempt to hold your attention. Cats seem to understand the impact their unblinking gaze has on us. Think about the times you've been followed from room to room, only to look back and see your cat perched somewhere, eyes locked on you, unmoving. It feels purposeful because it is purposeful. Cats don't waste energy on meaningless behaviors. If they're staring, they have a reason, even if it's not immediately obvious to you. Science even suggests that a cat's stare may serve deeper bonding purposes. When cats live with humans, they adapt their communication to suit us. Just as they've learned to meow in tones that mimic human babies crying, they may also use their gaze as a way of creating connection. By locking eyes with you, they might be reinforcing the social bond between you both. After all, in the wild, cats are solitary hunters who rarely need to make extended eye contact. With humans, however, they bend their instincts, finding new ways to share space and emotion. Of course, we can't ignore the more practical reasons behind a cat's unblinking stare. Sometimes it's as simple as entertainment. You move, you breathe, you talk. From your cat's perspective, you're fascinating. Cats spend a lot of their lives in quiet observation, and you are the most dynamic part of their environment. Watching you without blinking is like watching their favorite TV show. They never know what you'll do next. On the other hand, sometimes staring is just habit. Cats are creatures of routine. They establish certain behaviors, repeat them, and stick to them. If staring at you has once gotten them food, attention, or affection, they'll try it again. Over time, it becomes a pattern. You may not even realize that you're rewarding the stare by glancing back, speaking to them, or walking toward the kitchen, but your cat learns that their gaze has power over you. That realization makes them more likely to do it again, until staring becomes part of your daily relationship. It's also worth remembering that cats are crepuscular creatures, most active during dawn and dusk. Their eyes are built to take in as much light as possible in low-light environments. That natural adaptation gives them an eerie advantage when it comes to staring. Their pupils dilate, their gaze sharpens, and they can hold focus for astonishing lengths of time. The result for you is the feeling that your cat's eyes never leave yours, even in dim light. For some people, this unblinking attention can feel overwhelming. It might even trigger unease because we're not used to being stared at so openly. Among humans, extended eye contact without blinking can be seen as aggressive, invasive, or deeply intimate. So when your cat does it, it pushes buttons in our brains that make us react strongly. Some people feel loved by it, others feel uncomfortable, but almost everyone feels something, and maybe that's part of the magic. The beauty of the unblinking stare is that it reminds us just how mysterious cats really are. They're not like dogs, who wear their emotions on their sleeves, wagging tails and wide grins. Cats keep their inner world closely guarded. They reveal themselves in quiet moments, through a stare, a blink, a twitch of the tail. And it's in these subtle signals that we learn more about them, and about our own bond with them. So, the next time your cat stares at you without blinking, resist the urge to feel unnerved. Instead, take a moment to stare back. Notice the depth in their eyes, the stillness in their body, the quiet power of their presence. Try offering them a slow blink in return, that gentle closing and opening of your eyes that says, "I see you and I trust you too." You may be surprised to see your cat answer back with the same gesture. In that moment, the mystery becomes connection. Because ultimately, the unblinking stare isn't about intimidation or judgment or even curiosity alone. It's about communication. It's your cat's way of being with you, of saying silently what they cannot say in words. Whether they're studying you, trusting you, or simply reminding you that you are theirs, that gaze is a bridge between two very different species. And if you let it, it can deepen the bond you share with the mysterious creature who chooses, every day, to watch over you with eyes that never look away.